Good evening and welcome back to Sports Talk ATL. I am Chase Earl, joined by Alex Lord. It is officially August 1st, which means college football will be played this month. And I think we have the Hall of Fame game coming up in the NFL. Is it this week or next week? It's this week, isn't it? Mm-hmm. So we have football every week until the end of the year, until next year. I mean, we are right there, guys. We have a lot of college football stuff coming up in this show. We're going to break down the MLB trade deadline tomorrow. It's tonight at 6 o'clock. If you're watching this, it's probably already happened. We're going to break that all the way down tomorrow. But we're going to start off with the Braves' loss to the Angels last night. Not much to like here. Charlie Morton really came out in the first inning, looked like the Charlie Morton of his last time out where he had absolutely no control, threw about 30 pitches, was able to get out of it, just allowing one run. Then he really settled down. I thought he pitched really well, had some of his best stuff, really found his control. Still gave up 2 homers. At the end of the day, it was a quality start. The bats didn't show up. I guess they used up all their power, all their runs over the weekend when they lit up Milwaukee for about 30 runs with about 10 homers. That's going to happen every once in a while. Shohei Ohtani was fantastic. I mean, he came as advertised. He got a hit almost every time. About the only good thing that happened all day was in the 9th inning when Michael Harris robbed him for a homer.
Yeah, it was pretty hilarious. Some guy from Barstool had a parlay in the last leg of the parlay. I think it was like a 5-leg parlay to win like $4 or $5 grand. And the last leg was a Shohei Ohtani home run and Michael Harris robbed him. Yeah, you said it. It was a quality start from Morton. And that got me thinking. I saw the last 3 or 4 starts from Spencer Strider compared to Charlie Morton, and they're eerily similar, yet Morton is getting all this flack, and, Spencer Strider's being praised because he's got double-digit strikeouts in each of these games. And then I keep seeing people point to these outings as why the Braves need to start. Listen, if Spencer Strider is off, the Braves are screwed regardless. There is nobody the Braves can go out and trade for. I know I'm going a little off base from this game, but those are our horses. Like, if they're off, we're screwed. There is no, fixing it at the deadline. With that being said, Morton still settled in nicely, and yeah, it wasn't his fault. Like, if the Braves are going to put up 1 run, we're never going to win. We're never going to win a game like that. Matt Olson continues his hot streak, though, had the only run, that home run. I think now he's leading, or he's still behind Ohtani for home runs, leading the league in RBIs. The guy has played himself into the MVP conversation. We talked about it yesterday, and he just continues to add on. Best first baseman in NL by far.
Yeah, I mean,
by far.
I mean, he definitely isn't, but that's fine. We're not going to argue about that. He has been great, though. I mean, I think he has 18 homers or something ridiculous over his last 36 games. So, I mean, he's been unbelievable. He's on pace for 55 homers. He's been fantastic. He's really turned. I mean, I know he didn't have a terrible year last year, but he's come as advertised this year. And this is what I thought he was going to do last year. Last year, in my bold predictions, his first season, I predicted he would break the franchise record for home runs, which is 51, held by Andrew Jones, I think set in 2005. He's now easily on pace to do that. We'll see if he can get it done, but I really hope he challenges it. I hope he hits 50 homers. I mean, listen, we haven't had some guy hit it. We only had one guy hit 50 homers. So I really hope he does challenge it. He looks more comfortable. Everything in his second year, he looks a lot better. So I think that's a good sign. I mean, you got him signed through 2029 with a club option for 2030, which will almost assuredly be picked up. But yeah, there just wasn't a lot of good in this one. It's just one of those games you just chalk up, especially when you have a reliever on the mound for the Angels. You think you're going to tee off on him, especially as hot as this lineup was coming in. And it's one of those things that happens. I wanted to sweep the Angels because I think the Angels are stupid. I think they've set their organization 5 years back by making all these trades. I still don't think they'll make the playoffs. Hopefully the Braves can take care of business the rest of the season because, I know some people were like, oh, no, we want the Angels to win. We don't want Ohtani to leave and go to the Dodgers. I'm like, no, I don't want Ohtani to sit there and die with this crappy organization. If he goes to the Dodgers, he goes to the Dodgers. The Braves can still beat the Dodgers. It's not that big of a difference. And listen, if the Dodgers don't get Ohtani, you don't think they're going to go after Juan Soto next year? They didn't save up all this money not to spend it. They're going to get somebody, whether it's Ohtani or whether it's someone else. So I don't like that argument. I think bad organizations don't deserve great players like Shohei Ohtani. I think the Angels have all these moves that they made have all been marginal. They're not enough to put them over the top. Even if they make the playoffs, they're first round and out. It's bad for baseball if he stays there. So I really hope that the Braves can take care of business here. The Angels have the hardest schedule you've probably ever seen. I read it to you over the weekend. It's Blue Jays, Angel. It's like Blue Jays, Braves. It's ridiculous. This is not a schedule that you want to face. And if they stay in it through this, I'll be very surprised whether they beat the Braves or not.
Yeah, we've already seen the story written with Mike Trout. Before Ohtani, the greatest player we'd ever seen is Mike Trout, and he's just been just wasted away in Los Angeles. We don't want that to happen again. We want to see Ohtani in the postseason. That's like what we all want. It doesn't matter who it's for. As a baseball fan, don't be crazy. Don't be like, oh, I'm a Braves fan, I don't want to see him. No. You're crazy. You want to see the best players playing. It's what's best for the game. With that being said, silver lining. Pierce Johnson looked great again last night. The only time he's gotten in trouble, it really wasn't his fault. Against the Red Sox before the Justin Turner double off the wall that brought in, I think 2 or 3. Ozzie Albies had a misstep defensively. Should have been a double play right there to end the inning. And again, he gave up an insane single or a double. It was high and outside by like 3 or 4 inches outside, and the guy just ran with it and took it. I don't know who was up to bat to opposite field, left field, and he got a double off that, but then he got right out of it. Pierce Johnson is going to be a weapon out of the bullpen. Alex Anthopoulos did it again. Sure, he might not be that high leverage guy that I've been talking about, that we've been talking about, that we want, another high leverage guy to bump everybody down in the bullpen. But Pierce Johnson is certainly, right on the cusp of being that kind of guy for the Braves.
I mean, he's not going to be closing games, but I definitely think he could be in the setup conversation right there with AJ Minter and Joe Jimenez. I mean, AJ Minter is obviously going to be your primary setup guy, especially if there's lefties up in the lineup. But I think against righties and when AJ Minter needs a rest or whatever it may be, I think Pierce Johnson and Joe Jimenez definitely are going to be those guys. I think Pierce Johnson, just away from the fact that he had 3 strikeouts, I mean, his stuff looks nasty. I mean, he's throwing 97 miles per hour. It's got a lot of life on his fastball, and his curveball slider, his breaking pitch, whatever he goes to, has a ton of break, and it's forcing a ton of swings and misses. And a lot of these pitches aren't even close to the strike zone. So it's obviously really hard for batters to pick up. So yeah, there were some silver linings. Pierce Johnson, Michael Harris's catch, Matt Olson staying hot.
Travis d'Arnaud is still hitting the piss out of the ball, still hasn't found green grass, but he's still hitting the piss out of the ball, and they're going to start following. So, it's nothing to worry about.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't.
I'm not telling you, but
yeah. I mean, yeah. I know Braves fans like to overreact, especially when it comes to Charlie Morton. That poor guy can't catch a break. It'll never make any sense to me. I still got people saying, well, at least we'll opt out of the contract. I'm telling you guys, if Charlie Morton doesn't want to retire, y'all are going to be pissed off because in the next 2 months, there's going to be that announcement from the Braves where we just gave him the exact same contract extension we gave him last year, the same way we did with Travis d'Arnaud. It's going to be like we guarantee his contract for $20 million next year with a club option in 2024, or 2025, and I guarantee you it's coming. Like it or not, I mean, the guy's been rock solid. I mean, he's been a top 20 pitcher in baseball this entire season. That's technically, if you look across, if every team had an ace, he's technically an ace. Now, I'm not going to say that he belongs in that conversation, but people just have to realize that there aren't just a bunch of aces on every team. Not every team.
He's got a 3.5, 3.6 ERA. I mean, what do you want?
And the nastiest pitch in all of baseball is his curveball. So it is a little bit ridiculous. Coming up after the break, we got a comparison for Desmond Ridder. It's something that I think we probably heard before. It shouldn't come as surprising, but it would be really good if it came to fruition.